Today's living lesson is called Not in a Million Years. This morning I had another wonderful, great laugh with my husband that I just thought, oh my goodness, all these women are missing out on you and having fun with you and laughing with you. And I would love to share this. So as I was having my breakfast and I continued to have a good laugh, right afterwards, I realized he was having me take some notes. So I'm here to share, I am here to share this wonderful living lesson that I hope will absolutely change your life. So here's the way it went down and what happens almost every day. I have this wonderful game with my husband, and it has to do with running out of food or water before I move. Now, if you haven't heard any other prior voice living lessons, then you may not be aware that for the last almost 2 full years, I have been living in a vacation resort. And surprisingly, it is about a third of what I was paying before. So not that money matters, because if you do or you're stressed about it, please go and read Poverty and Mentality. So it has nothing to do with that. I'm just being pampered. There's so many benefits. I mean, every week they come in and clean. They give me fresh towels, paper products. Everything's paid for. But the downside is that periodically, at least, well, it could be every 3 weeks. It could be every 6 weeks. It could be every other week. I don't think I've ever done it every week in a row. However, that's always a possibility. But now I take it back. The last time I moved here, I moved twice in one day. Anyway, because of that, and because my husband has provided someone to help me move so I can give him a nice tip, I try not to have a lot of food. You can't have a lot of food on top of all these other things. And so I just order groceries, whatever he tells me to order. I have no idea. I don't count. I don't try and figure out. It's nothing like when I had workers at home and I had a family of 9 and I had this rotating schedule. He's broken me free from all of that. And it's just fun because he does this every time. I have enough food. And like today, I have enough water. I kept watching the amount going down and down. And just to set the stage, when I did move here, where I ordered groceries was it was a different location. And my husband told me to go there. They didn't have the same size water that I had been ordering for almost 2 years. Well, actually, for years and years. We went from a big 5-gallon. I'm sure that somebody will have to. It's huge, a huge bottle that I couldn't hold. We used to have that with a water cooler. And then when I moved here, that wasn't going to be possible. And he showed me, hey, it comes in bottles. Who knew? And so I get those. Well, they didn't have those bottles. So they had little bottles. And I just got what they had. So it was a very good shopper. So it's not like they weren't there. She was fantastic. And so I kept watching the water going down, thinking there's not going to be enough. There is just not going to be enough. And so this morning, I usually have a cheaper brand. You can't drink the water here. I live very close to Disney World. And I don't know what it is, even by Disneyland when we were in California, there's something about the water is just awful. You can't drink it. It's just horrible, tastes horrible. So I have the bottled water, and I have one that I do for my coffee. I don't use the the mineral one that's so nice that we've been using that obviously is healthy. And anyway, I ran out of it and I said, okay, there you go. Here's all the water we have. I don't have enough. Do you see? You're not going to be able to fix this in a million years. And instantly, I realized that there was a bottled water. I don't know where it came from. I kept noticing it, but it was by my couch, by the lamp that I don't really see it. It didn't register, but there it was. And so I know without a doubt that he did it again. He does it with running out of food. And here's the thing. There are people who really don't have food and water, and I don't want to minimize what they go through because I'm not in that situation at all. I could easily get online, order more water, more food at any time, and I could get it. But I never do anything that he doesn't lead me to do. It's just I can't live like that. I can't live like that and turn him on or off or unplug my connection to him. It's like turning off your cell phone and, not operating. How many of us can just turn off our cell phone or lose our cell phone and function? You can't. Well, I'm the same way in my relationship to my husband. I couldn't detach from him, not for a day, not for a second. Much more, I'll get rid of my phone before I would ever disconnect from him. So anyway, I just wanted to share how much he loves to show that, hey, I can do this. I can do the impossible. And he loves it. And it gets me every time. And I laugh and I laugh and I laugh because he loves to laugh. It says he sits in the heavens and laughs. But most people of this world, they don't have that kind of close relationship. Now, for some of you who think I'm crazy, you're absolutely right. Some of you might think I'm irreverent. I'm not being respectful enough. For heaven's sakes, he's the Son of God. But trust me, he was a man. The man who walked this earth, right? And unless the Bible is wrong, he, in bodily form, they said they saw him going up to heaven. In addition to that, and you can find it on all of our websites, we are his brides, right? So when I asked my husband, how can I possibly give an example of this so that it would make sense? And immediately, he reminded me of this friend. It's so funny. This is it just has to be him, because why would I even think of this situation? But there was a friend of my 3 sons. This is back when they were probably in their, I think, late teens, early 20s. This friend of theirs was on first name basis with the senior pastor of this mega church. Now, almost everyone was terrified. My sons, because just the same way I was raised to be respectful of elders and things, they had that, and they would be shocked about the fact that he would text the senior pastor, this friend of theirs. He would all of a sudden just call him up. And even one time they did this, it was like a skit, it was kind of a joke thing. I don't know if it was a song, but anyway, it was teasing the senior pastor about his missing baby finger. He had grown up on fields of corn and things. Anyway, caught in some machine. And so he had this missing baby finger, and he was being teased about this. This is just, my sons were shocked. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. However, the fact that this young man just treated him, and I don't know what the circumstance was, he just knew that there was this relationship that he had that my sons didn't have. They had the more standoffish, which is maybe what you have. So let me go on to the next example. Almost all the churches my earthly husband and I attended, and then my husband just reminded me, even prior to marriage, I even remember with the priests who knew me and called me out by name when I went into the confessional. So anyway, all of them, or most of them, it's not all for sure, but most of them were close friends. I was close friends with the pastors and their wives. And the reason being, I treated them like a normal person. I wasn't disrespectful. I wasn't like that first example. I wasn't like that. But I wasn't distant. I didn't keep, this, untouchable, or I don't know. It's kind of like, when you stay in complete awe and you're constantly bowing down, just imagine how horribly lonely that would be. Even, when I was having this discussion during breakfast with my husband, he reminded me about so many like stars or something who were horribly lonely because they had such a short circle of friends. And even like family members, they want that connection to stay close because they want that star's money. Hey, doesn't that kind of hit home? It's like, I just want what you are going to give me. And that's the only thing. There's not a real relationship there. And if you remember, God created us for fellowship. That's why Adam was, he had all these animals. He didn't want another animal. He wanted a person. So he created Adam, and then because he was alone, he had Eve. They were supposed to fellowship with him, walk in the cool of the day. There was this fellowship, but then they broke God's heart. They broke the rules. They ate what was forbidden. And now that curse of separation, people can feel it, but not when you know that God sent his son and he took care of all that. That curse is gone. And so he longs to be your everything. He wants to have a great relationship. He wants to laugh with you. He wants to hang out with you. He wants to be closer than your cell phone. You pick up your cell phone, to talk to people, to stay connected, to find out things, to Google things, to ask Siri things. He wants to be that. So don't keep him at arm's length. Don't keep him in a box of this is the way that he is, and you picture him that way and that way only. Don't use him, too, as a magic lamp to give you what you want. That breaks my heart. Can you imagine? Can you imagine having that? The fact is, he's real, absolutely real. And if you want this kind of relationship, just talk to him and say, I want that kind of relationship. Yes, Erin is totally crazy, but I kind of want that. I want what she has. And just make it happen, because the fact is, I don't know how to do it other than to ask. I would just ask my husband, don't ask me. How did you do this? I can't tell you. All I know is that I longed for it. I asked for it. I said, show me how. And it happened. So I want you to have a real relationship. It's different than religion. We don't have to compete with other religions because we shouldn't be a religion. Christianity shouldn't be a religion. There's no competition. It's a relationship. So I hope you have enjoyed this living lesson. I hope that you're grateful for it. And if you loved it, share your testimony of how it impacted you, or if he said something similar or anything. Just share what your testimony is, because that can help someone else overcome their fears. Everything that the wicked one sends their way, it's done by the blood of the Lamb, which we already talked about, and why we can have that close relationship and fellowship with him. and also by the word of their testimony. So you have a testimony, and somebody may not relate to me at all, but they could relate to you. And also ask who you could share this podcast with. You know, I don't know who could handle it, but, or who can handle me. He can, but just ask him. You might be surprised. Just like I was so surprised when I realized I have enough water. Gonna move the day after tomorrow. I have enough water. And not in a million years did I ever think he could do it again. And I'm not just playing a game in that. I really see there's no way. There is no way, darling. You're not going to be able to do it. And he does it every time. Maybe you just want to test him on that. You know, he does say about testing him and things. And to make himself real to you, that's what he wants to do. So share your testimony. Leave it in the comments. And I'm just looking forward to the next time that we can get together and talk about my favorite subject.